Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to play Kingston Town, the UB40 version. To play it in the original key, you need to put a capo on the first fret. The song starts on G. All the night seems to fade, and then it goes to B minor, C, D, back to C, for D, G, whoa, D. The stars, G, shine so bright, B minor, but they C, D. There is C in D, G. So that's the first verse. And the chorus, it goes down to B minor, O Kingston, E minor, the F sharp minor, B minor. If I had E minor, I would give it away. Just the A minor, the A7, a D, D7, and when back to G for the verse, I am king, B minor, surely C, D, and a palace, C, and D, G, yeah, D, and now G, B minor, C, D, C, D, G, and the other little bridge is just G, B minor, C, D, G, B minor, C, D, and it goes back to B minor, the chorus, E minor, F sharp minor, B minor. If I E minor, I would give it away. Just an A minor, A7, D, D7, and to verse 3, G, B minor, C, D, C, D, G, yeah, D, and G, B minor, C, D. She'll be waiting, C, in D, oh yeah, E minor. She'll be waiting, C, in D, G. I'm using the tabs, the official tab on Ultimate Guitar, and I'm going to show you how to play these chords now, and then I'll play the song through from the start. So the rhythm, before I show you the chords, the rhythm is a ska rhythm. It's best to play it with an upstroke if you can, using a plectrum or your thumb. B minor. So to help dampen the chords as well, I'm taking my chord hand off just for a second. There you go. And to play these chords, I'll show you the way that I'm playing the D and the C. To play G, you can play it as an open chord like this. So you take your third finger, I put it on the third fret of the E string, your second finger on the second fret of the A string, and your first finger on the third fret of the G string. You can also play it that way around with your first finger on the second fret of the A string and your second finger on the third fret of the E string. Or you can play it like this, like a bar chord. And to play it as a bar chord, you take your first finger and bar all of the strings there on the third fret. your third finger goes on the 5th fret of the A string, and your little finger goes under that on the 5th fret of the D string. And then your second finger goes on the 4th fret of the G string, and you press really hard, and that's how you can play G. You can also play it like this, which is how I like to do it most of the time. You take your first finger and press on the 3rd fret of the B string and the E string, so you're playing those together. Then your second finger goes on the 4th fret of the G string. Your little finger goes on the 5th fret of the D string, and your third finger goes on the 5th fret of the A string. And then if you can, you put your thumb on the 3rd fret of the bottom E string there. So that's G. The next chord is B minor, which you can play it as a bar chord like this. So you take your first finger and you bar all those 5 strings starting on the A string on the 2nd fret. Your second finger goes on the 3rd fret of the B string. Your little finger goes on the 4th fret of the G string, and your third finger goes on the 4th fret of the D string. And that's B minor. The next chord is C. I'll show you how I play it as a bar chord like this. You take your first finger and you press down really hard on the 3rd fret of all the 5 strings there, starting on the A string. And then your third finger goes on the 5th fret of the D string, G string and B string. So you're playing those 4 strings there really, A, D, G and B. That's one way you can play C. And then to play D, you slide that up 2 frets for D. Other chords in the song are, we've got an E minor, which is your second finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and underneath that your third finger goes on the 2nd fret of the D string. You play all the 6 strings, that's E minor. There's also an A minor in the song, which is you play open A string, second finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and underneath that your third finger goes on the 2nd fret of the G string. And then you put your first finger on the 1st fret of the B string. And you play all the 5 strings starting on A, and that's A minor. There is a little A7 there as well. A7 is your second finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, open G string, and your third finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. You play all the 5 strings starting on A, and that's A7. And we have a D. There's 2 ways you can play D. You can play it like this or like that. As an open chord, you can play put your second finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, your third finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and your first finger goes on the 2nd fret of the E string, and you play the 4 strings there starting on D, and that's how you can play D. There's also a D7 in the song there at the end of the chorus. You don't have to play it, but it's a nice little passing chord. And to play D7, you put your first finger on the 1st fret of the B string, your second finger goes on the 2nd fret of the G string, and your third finger goes on the 2nd fret of the E string. And you play the 4 strings starting on D there. So that's how to play D7. In the chorus, there is an F sharp minor, which you can play as a bar chord like this. So to play it as a bar chord, you take the first finger and you press really hard on all the 6 strings there on the 2nd fret. Then your third finger goes on the 4th fret of the A string, and underneath that your little finger goes on the 4th fret of the D string. That's F sharp minor. You can also play it like this, which is, I like to play it this way. You take your first finger and you press on the 2nd fret of the G string, B string and E string, so you're holding that together. And then your little finger goes on the 4th fret of the D string, and your third finger above that on the 4th fret of the A string. And then put your thumb on the 2nd fret of the E string there. So that's F sharp minor. Okay, so I think that's all the chords. We're going to run through the song now from the beginning. Okay, here we go. The night seems to fade, but the moonlight lingers on. There were warm and my queen will come at dawn. She'll be waiting in Kingston Town. Little instrumental. Oh, Kingston Town, the place I long to be. If I had the whole world, I would give it away just to see the girls I play. Yeah, and when I am king, surely I would need a queen and a palace and everything. Yeah, and now I am king and my queen will come back home. She'll be waiting in Kingston Town. Oh yeah, she'll be waiting in Kingston Town. Oh yeah, she'll be waiting in Kingston Town. And that's how to play Kingston Town, the UB40 cover version. It's a great song, and if you're not happy with the key, like for example that key is not good for my voice, so on the tabs here, on the ultimate tabs, there is a little transpose button there. If you click on transpose, you can change the key to whatever key you want. So for example, let's have a look. Transpose, let's put it up to, I play it so it starts on D, the main chord. Find it right. So on C, that might be better. Night seems to fade, but the moonlight lingers on. I like that. That's better for my voice. So I'm starting out on C, and you might actually prefer this key from the point of view of chords as well, because in the chorus there is an E minor, an A minor, a B minor, but there's no F sharp minor. So personally I would prefer to do the song in this key rather than playing it in G. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. Goodbye.